What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Analyst Desk. It is I, Jacob Moore, the self-proclaimed sports analyst, joined by Mr. More for Your Money.
Woo! Hello, everyone.
And the man with no face, or maybe it's actually Austin Matthews, but it's Adam, and he is never alone.
I try not to be.
We got a lot
to get some company.
We have a lot to cover here today. We got the Leafs game going on in the next 40-ish minutes. We got some CFO expansion conversations to have. We have Austin Matthews conversations, World Juniors.
Given he's with us.
Yeah, good thing. So how's everyone feeling tonight, though? We feeling good?
We're Willie Nylander gained 100 pounds and wearing his jersey.
You know what, Dan? You're almost as beautiful as William Nylander.
You know what? I have a beautiful face. I just have an ugly body. Just like chop off my hair.
Anyways, you know what? Do you know what we say about body negativity?
That's true, yeah.
You know what we say about body positivity? That's how we roll at the desk. But you know what, Adam, I know you want to talk about some players who have been cut from the World Juniors. So why don't you start us off there about some of the players that have been cut from Hockey Canada?
Oh, yeah. Well, Jake O'Brien. Well, it's both of the Bulldog players got cut. Oh my God, Jake O'Brien and then Vanaker. I don't remember his first name, but he leads the OHL in goals when he left with 25, I think it was. Wow. And he got cut, but he was expected to, he was going to be on like the fourth or third line. He was going to be bottom six. And I just don't think he fit the role they wanted him to play. Plus, he was only called in after Misa got hurt. So I'm pretty sure he was not even going to be involved in the tournament in the first place. And then O'Brien got cut because he played bad last night. He just didn't look good, which was weird. I think they played Sweden in a pre-tournament game, in their first pre-tournament game yesterday.
One game, he gets cut.
Well, I don't think he showed up in training camp, I would assume then, or he just didn't fit the role they were going to have him play. True. Which, I assume that the Hunter brothers know what they're talking about when they're assessing a team.
Oh, I guess Jacob doesn't agree with that.
Well, they've successfully run one of the best junior programs in the last,
Okay, but guys, what was the big issue with Team Canada last year? They couldn't score. So they have two top goal scorers in junior hockey in Canada from the roster. It's a concern.
Well, they have Michael Misa scored 70 goals last year in juniors. They have Haig who can score goals. Desharnais, whatever you say it, the guy from the QMJHL. I don't know how to pronounce his name properly, but he can score goals. Porter Martone can score goals. There's tons. I don't think goal scoring is a major concern this year because of the just the depth that is on this team. That I don't think goal scoring should be a major concern.
We said that last year going into it too, right?
But this team is much more talented than last year's team. There's three players who played NHL minutes this year on this team currently still. There's the difference is that you have players who are very good. Think of this, Vanaker is going to be playing in the bottom six. Same thing with potentially O'Brien. Both of those are two of the best players in the OHL, and neither of them were in the top six. If they weren't going to be in the top six, what's the point of having them on the team? Though, I guess so. If they weren't going to play the role...
When I say that about Easton Cowan or Nicholas Robertson, everyone gets mad at me.
Yeah, but, if they weren't going to play the roles, if they couldn't properly play the roles that they were going to be put into, then what was the point of having them? Jackson Smith was the other player who got cut. He's a defenseman. And while the defense is absolutely stacked, Zane Pareke, you got Verhoff, who is up for the draft this year. You got a lot of very talented defensemen that I don't think it's egregious that he got cut. But again, Sam Dickinson, San Jose's talking about potentially sending him. And if they send him, well, that's a defensive core that's absolutely stacked. And one that looks like they should win. That's a defensive, even without Dickinson, I think it's a very good defensive core. Goaltending is going to be great. Again, this year, I don't have any concerns about that. But, if you could cut two of the best players in the OHL and still have a very stacked team, I don't think there's very much concern yet. Until game one of this tournament, I don't think anybody should be heavily concerned yet. Unless goal scoring becomes an issue, then I don't think it's a very big talking point yet.
Well, even last night they only won 2-1.
Sweden's really good though.
Sweden's very good.
It was Sweden.
Like Sweden and Canada are probably the two best. Like you just look roster wise, and I think it's very well. Like I think
what about America?
Would say this, they're the two best teams. Well, USA, they're not as good as they were last year, and I will say it doesn't help the fact that Trey Augustine's aged out and he has dominated this tournament for the US in the last 2 years.
That's very
I think the biggest concern is goaltending for them. I also don't think the US team, if you look at it from like even last year or 2 years ago, like the last two tournament winning rosters, this is not as good of a team. I think the US are still poised to go deep because they just won the tournament 2 years in a row. You can't count them out.
No.
Well, like when you look at the team compared to like Sweden and the Canada, those two teams on paper are probably, you could say, the two best teams in this tournament.
Sweden never gets it done.
Yeah, but that's why I said on paper. Sweden are a very good team, though. Sweden are very on paper. I would say on paper. I think Finland could be better because
Finland too.
Lost, but they just lost one of their better players, which doesn't help. I just don't remember who it is.
Yeah, I'm going to say this too. I don't think you can ever count Czechia out the way they play.
No.
I'm saying that in the Olympics too coming up. I feel like Czechia is a country that they play the right way, and maybe they don't have the talent of the, Canada, Sweden, and the States, but they certainly play the games the right way to win a lot of games. But we have some comments to get to here.
I will say Czechia, though, is very talented.
And they are. I just mean they don't have that like same pedigree as, let's say, a Team Canada roster does, but I think they can.
And I will say, Dan, I will also point out Sweden last night were without the second ranked prospect in this year's upcoming draft behind Gavin McKenna. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. I will try and find out what his name is.
Yeah.
He did not play last night for Sweden, and he is up there with Verhoff and McKenna for this upcoming draft.
So Canada still has McKenna, correct?
Yeah, they do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's there. Yeah,
and everyone's still mad at West does. I don't have to worry about them.
But let's get to a comment here saying I don't know whether to laugh about Skinner or rage about the fact that an Oiler player keeps reaching 1,000 points. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I gotta say, I actually feel for Skinner.
Yeah, that was a very tough situation. I mean, that was almost as crazy when the Blue Jays traded for the pitcher in the middle of a double header kind of thing. Like, it was pretty nuts. Both Justin Jarry and Skinner both had the opposite helmets and sticks. And Skinner did not look very good, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I don't think Tristan Jarry's looked that great in Edmonton either. I don't think it's solved.
The point is he won the game.
Okay, but it's like saying, you know what? You need a new vehicle. Yeah. So your car's broken down. So I'm going to give you another car that's broken down, but it has different issues that are going to cost the same amount to fix as the other car you had. You're not solving anything.
Kind of interesting that Jacob keeps bringing automotive into the conversation.
Exactly,
buddy.
Hey, you know what? And who knows? Maybe, Wilder, you'll get your wish. Look, I seriously think that I think the leash is getting shorter and shorter by the day in Toronto. As much as they won the last game off one good period, which shows how good this team can be.
I love Hunter, but he wasn't the best coach when he coached in Washington that 1 year in the NHL.
Yeah, 1 year, though, wasn't really enough of a sample size to say I would never use him again.
And I imagine Ovi's a tough person to coach. I would imagine.
I would imagine so, too. And, I mean, the Leafs have a tough contest tonight versus the Capitals. Yeah. They're coming off a pretty embarrassing loss, so they're going to be pretty hungry. But interestingly enough, the lines are...
I was just about to ask that.
Different, again.
Oh, why do they keep doing this? Literally last game, I was telling you this, Jacob. Like, you put the third line back together, and guess what happened?
No, the third line is back together. I'm going to share my screen.
Oh, Jacob, you scared me. I thought they were going to take the line.
Yeah, I was going to scare too.
I was going to be so mad.
So, but now they've loaded up the top line again. So it's nice.
I love the background, by the way.
Matthews and Willie.
I'm fine with that line.
I
love that line.
You would have Robertson, Tavares, Cowan.
Okay. I don't love that.
Joshua, Waugh, McMahon, Lawrence, Lawton, Domi.
I thought you a solid lineup. I don't have a problem with that at all.
I feel
I
like
have a lot of
Robertson looked
problems
really
with it.
good on the fourth line.
I have a lot of
when he
problems
played.
with it.
Well, like I really liked Robertson on that fourth line because like when he was there, Scott Lawton, like that line created some chances.
That's
I
true.
I understand wanting to play Robertson further up the team, but I would even say like because if you're gonna drop Domi to the fourth, I feel like you might as well just bring in Massielli at that point.
That's how I feel.
Like you might as well just bring him in and try him out if you're gonna drop Domi from the top line all the way to the fourth. Like, what's the point? Like, I get it, I guess.
Wilder, you might say Matthews one shot last game, one shot, one goal.
And it was a beauty of a goal, too.
And actually,
he
it is a
assisted the first
conversation.
goal.
I have a gas or ass for a little bit later about Austin Matthews. But before we get into
I'm
that,
worried
and Wilder,
about
you're saying
that
you like
now.
these lines.
I'm with Wider on this one. I like them too.
Okay, I don't, but I think this is the best you can do with what you have. That second line's a joke. That's not a second line.
No,
that's
you
third
want
line.
That's
Nick
not a
Wapason.
guys. That's not a second line.
We all said Nick Wapason has to be a top 6 forward without Mitch Marner.
It's your
Oh,
boy,
Mr.
Lane
Pasco.
Dashing Dashko.
Oh, the
Right?
dashing one.
We all said Nick Wapason had to step it out a little bit with Marner in the lineup. So this is his chance to step it
Dan,
up.
come on, I've
And
already
he's
put
to
in our
Cowan.
group chat.
We
All
all said if he doesn't get
Larson.
top 6 minutes, what's the point of him in
was
the NHL?
replaced. OEL has already done Marner's goal contribution, so quit your crying.
Okay.
They both got
I think it's a few more apples missing there.
But I'm just saying, like, you're telling me that's a second line that wins the Stanley Cup? No, it's
No, nobody said that.
Well,
We're not
But,
trying to
like,
win the Stanley Cup in
but, like,
mid-December.
I feel like no matter what you do, and I'm going to keep saying it because I do, like, fully do believe it. William Nylander, just because you put Nylander up there doesn't mean Austin Matthews is a bad player, but I do really, truly believe Matthews needs a secondary playmaker because if you're asking
100%.
Matthews, it's like I know he should be able to drive a line by himself, but I feel like if you put because Nyes won't do the playmaking, even though he's a good playmaker, I don't think he's the type of playmaker needed for Austin Matthews, especially if you want him to be scoring a ton of goals. William Nylander's going to set up Austin Matthews for goals, and they score a ton together.
I can't
but
say
you
Matthews
can't have him on. That means you can't have him on the second line, which means you need somebody else down there, and that means a trade. So you
Well, and that's kind of my point. I think,
yeah,
and you can't say Matthews can't drive a line by himself. He is on pace for 43 goals. Like that's. I know you guys. We've argued about this that's not an elite goal scorer. Well, numbers don't
is an
lie.
elite goal
Dan
scorer.
does. I'm kidding.
It's an elite,
and it is an elite goal scorer. But my concern is here. I don't know if John Tavares can drive a line with two arguably AHL players.
I think we're past that point yet.
I don't think we are, but it's interesting. Elaine, I have not seen Mike Johnson's breakdown on Captain Underpants, so we'll have to check that out. Tavares of Cowan? No! It would be like putting Crosby on a line of Jack Hughes. Well,
that doesn't work.
It's interesting.
What I'm going to say
that's an interesting
too,
take.
comparing Crosby to Tavares is like comparing Dan to actual, like, real life William Nylander.
Well, Jacob, you're going to ignore the fact that, like, Jack Hughes to Cowan is a comparison as well there.
Jack Hughes is a much better player than Easton Cowan right now.
Actually,
that's what I was saying. I'm like comparing those two when Jack Hughes is like one of the best. You could say when he's healthy and when he's playing really well. Jack Hughes is one of the best players in hockey.
Yeah, I don't think Easton Cowan is.
No, he's not. So that comparison is just wild to me as well.
Wild thoughts. And yeah, Wilder, we will have to see. I could be complaining, and who knows? Maybe this lineup's going to do great. I have an unpopular opinion. I would have loved to see Max Domi scratched, Marcelli playing, and Lawton on the second line, and move Robertson to the fourth.
Okay, well, Dan, if you want him to be traded, he needs to play so his trade value goes up. Him sitting doesn't do anything for his trade value. It makes it worse. We're not going to get anything.
That, but if he's playing on the ice and looking pathetic, that's not going to help his trade value either.
But Dan,
either way, he needs to play.
And at this point, we're so far deep in the standings, we can't worry about trade values right now. We got to worry about winning games.
Well, Dan,
I agree. If we were sitting top in the division, yeah, let's worry about trade value, but we're not there.
Dan, but if we want to trade Massielli to potentially get somebody better to then play them further up the lineup, he needs to show some sort of value to a team. And it doesn't like he's good. Like if he plays deeper in the lineup and shows some value, then yeah, somebody's going to trade for him to bring in him as depth. But like he needs to play to do that. If he's sitting in the press box doing nothing but twiddling his thumbs, we're not even going to get him for a third. We're going to get him for like a 5th or a 7th round pick. And that's
I think he's a waiver pickup. I think that's his value.
I'm out, Toronto.
You're acting
like the Leafs. You're acting like the Leafs are in crisis. They are 4 points out of a playoff spot. They are 5 points behind the Capitals.
So we could still play Massielli and be,
and it's not
fine.
like
he's not that bad that we're gonna lose games.
He's been better than Max Domi.
I don't know. The way I look at Utah could really use a 50-point guy, and they got rid of him.
Utah does not want him back again, but
he was just in Utah.
We are not dumping on you, number one. And
no, never dump on you.
I get what you're saying about putting two players that maybe the chemistry might not be lining up. Although, like I will say, Cowan and Tavares have had some success together. It's just usually when Nylander's driving the line. I just don't know if Tavares at his age can drive a line with the Toronto Marlies.
Also, you want a leadership.
And someone agrees with you.
Thank you, Wilder. Thank you, sir. Thank you. You also want some leadership to play with Easton Cowan, and there's no better leader than John Tavares or Easton Cowan. The one thing I want to say is people are going to laugh at me. But I've been saying since the preseason, you got to put Knives, Matthews, and Willie on a line together. And people have laughed at me ever since. But if you look, laugh at me even more now. But you look at that line, do what it compares me to? That magical team from the early 2000s.
Oh, give me
you had Gary Roberts, Matt Sundin, Alexander McGillney. Because you got Knives and Gary Roberts. You got Matthews a big shot at Sundin. And you got the speed of McGillney with Nylander.
Number one,
not saying that's good.
Was one of the greatest goal scorers of his generation. Number two, Gary Roberts was an absolute tank. Number three, like Sundin or Lumpum, he got the Leafs to the third round of the playoffs. They're not comparable. And I'm not even a big Matt Sundin fan, and that's going to upset people by me saying that. But like at the end of the day, I'm just not. I can't see how you're comparing it to that line because
it's the closest thing we got. I'm not saying they're comparable. I'm just saying, if you look at a modern day NHL, it's not too many people like Gary Roberts.
And you did not miss the gas or ass key. Don't worry. And it actually, we're going to read Lane's comment. Then we have another comment I want to get to from a new viewer, and then we'll get to the gas or ass. But
wait,
this is about Austin Matthews here from Lane, saying it has nothing to do with coaching and the line mates. The stats don't lie. He doesn't hit over 20-mile-per-hour bursts for a first-line player, lowest in the league amongst the least talent.
Oh, I
know what he's talking about now. I know what he's talking about. Last game, they showed in like the first or second period, they were showing like Austin Matthews, his highest, his speed from his career and how it's gone down. It's gone down like a certain amount. I don't remember what like exactly the chart had said, but I do remember them showing that. And then they also pointed out that the speed of his shot, which could have something to do with his wrist injuries, has gone down. Like his shot just isn't as fast as it used to be, which is fair enough with all the wrist injuries he's had. And the speed could be because of the, I put it in quotation marks. You can't see me, but in quotation marks, back injury, because we don't know if there was a back injury or not. But if there was, that could explain the speed because he can't go as fast because his back. Like it would explain things. But I do remember that chart now because they showed it. They were talking about it during like the first period or something last game.
By the way, I really like this comment. I believe this is a new viewer, so welcome.
Yeah, I think so. Welcome to the decks.
I agree. Moving Lawton in the lineup, he nails and shows the group that if you perform, you get rewarded. There's no real internal competition, and I 100% agree with this.
Yeah.
And then the lines he's saying, you have Nyes, Matthews, Nylander, Lawton, Tavares, Cowan, Joshua, Waugh, McMahon, Lorentz, Domi, Yarncroke.
Oh, I like that line.
My only thing would be I would actually play Yarncroke at center, play Robertson, and scratch Domi because I think he needs to be a healthy scratch again. And then you could make this argument too. McMahon, Waugh, and Joshua is the real second line. JT is the third. And you could make that argument right now. That third line is playing much better than the second line.
Yeah, Tavares has gone down in stats the last couple of games.
Well, because he's playing with AHL players.
Yeah,
I feel bad. You can make that argument, Dan. If you're going to play him with AHL guys, he's not Sidney Crosby. He never has been.
I actually feel bad for Matthews here because I actually thought Matthews, did he have a great whole game last game? No. But any day he was a captain and a leader, stepped up in the third period with assisting the first goal off the faceoff, getting the second goal on the power play thanks to William Nylander's work down below the net. And he won the game. I feel like this is one of his best examples of him being the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And everyone's still on him. So as much as I've said my marks about him too in the past, I feel bad for him.
Matthews has speed when he applies himself. Man, it sounds like a fifth grade English teacher when I tell them I can't find a word in a dictionary when I can't spell it. You could have applied yourself.
That's a good point, folks.
He does, but this leads to my gas or ass. Gas or is it gas? Yeah. Gas or is it gas? Or is it ass? Leaf Nation is doing to Austin Matthews what they did to Phil Kessel. He will leave, request a trade, and win multiple Stanley Cups somewhere else. Gas or ass?
Gas. So much gas. And I will say this because
so much gas that if Adam had a bottle of Axe body spray and he put out that gas, he'd set his room on fire.
So I will say, Jacob, because I saw this as an article, I think it was on Sportsnet or TSN, where it said Matthews, his relationship with Leaf Nation is souring, or it's not like where it used to be. And I will say this because I feel like it's happening again. And it's like a continued thing where now that Marner's gone, Matthews is getting, like, I don't think he's getting as much as Marner used to, but he is getting blame. And I'm like, the guy, if he is still dealing with that back injury, that's a concern that's something he's just going to deal with the rest of his career. And it's like, if we're going to really not, like, if we're going to really say that Marner putting up 45 goals or on pace for 45 goals, whatever it is, like, that's it. That's like insane. And if he leaves, because I will say this, if he does leave, yeah, I can already predict to you guys what people are going to say. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, why did he go? We loved him the whole time. Austin Matthews, you were the best player the Leafs had for years. Why'd you go? We love you. No, you don't. No, most Leaf fans, for some reason, just have this in their head where Matthews isn't scoring 60 goals, 60 plus goals, he's bloody useless. And it's like, you can't, if we keep doing this, he goes out there and he wins cups and he puts up 60 plus goals again.
Disagrees with you, Adam.
I'm going to be right because I have kept saying Matthews is still valuable. Matthews is still one of the best goal scorers in the league. And if y'all want to trade him and he goes out and he succeeds, guess what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to come back with receipts. I'm going to come back with my receipts that I'm saying he's still one of the elite goal scorers in the league. I'm going to laugh in your faces. And I'm going to say, haha, I told you the whole time. And guess what? Y'all can stand on your comments or just don't talk. Because if you're going to say and criticize him, you can't cry when he leaves. Because that's what everybody did for Phil Kessel. They tore him down for years. Not just, like, I feel like Leaf fans won't take blame for that. Because I don't think they were as bad as the media. But the media tore that man down for years. And then he goes out and he wins his cups. He comes back and laughed in their faces with 2 Stanley Cups that he brought back to this city. I still love Phil DeFrill.
3 times.
He's a legend.
I love Phil DeFrill.
But like, you can't keep crapping on the guy. And if he leaves and he goes out and he plays well in the playoffs somewhere else, guess what? What are you going to say then? Like that's your criticism of him. And it's a fair enough criticism. But if he goes out and he does it elsewhere, then you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, why was he? I want to
quickly state before I get to your point, Dan. Austin Matthews, and everyone said he's playing terrible, right? I think everyone is going on about that. Would you like to know his stats in the last 10 games?
I would love to because I feel like they're great.
He has 5 goals, 4 assists, 17 shot blocks, averaging 20 minutes a game, and is a +4.
Wow, Jacob. So would you say he's playing well right now?
I would say he's playing well. You know, everyone's saying William Nylander is terrible in the last 10 games. William Nylander has 2 goals, 7 assists, and hang up your phone. 9 points and 3 power play points. People are saying Matty Nyes is struggling. 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points in the last 10 games. People are telling me, "Oh, well, Jacob, what are you talking about when you say that they don't have a true second line?" The best player on the second line in the last 10 games is shockingly Easton Cowan, who has 4 points in 10 games. That's your best player on the second line. Your third line, I agree with Wilder, is literally better than your second line.
Yeah.
Like McMahon, 6 points. Nicholas Waugh, 6 points. Dakota Joshua, 5 points. Like, and to say empty net goals don't count, dude, I'm sorry. I got to disagree with you.
A goal's a goal. It doesn't matter how you score it.
What? Okay, fine.
Back
So
of the net, it
4
counts.
goals and 4 assists and 8 points in 10 games.
You can't. I hate when people do that because it's like, what is he supposed to do? Like, is he supposed to not put the puck in the back of the net when there's an empty net? Like, you score. Goal is a goal. And Lane, congratulations for keeping receipts from your work. If they mean nothing,
you know what? You got to.
I don't keep any receipt. I pull them all out.
And I love this comment here. Phil Kessel performs in playoffs. Look at the stats. And we ran him out of town.
Yeah, exactly.
Is this another new viewer, I think?
He's amazing. He should have won a Conn Smythe.
I think that's another new viewer, so welcome to the desk.
No, he's been here quite a few times, Mr. Moore.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, but welcome back.
Year 1 in the playoffs with Pittsburgh, he should have won the Conn Smythe. I think a lot of people would say that.
I do agree. Dakota Joshua is playing really well, and that's my point of the matter is, though, and also Max Domi, mind you, he is a -8, but he does have 6 assists. So, I mean, it's still not good.
Okay, so
I just feel at the end of the day when I look, this is Austin Matthews not performing, and we can all agree Austin Matthews is not playing as well as he could be. I think we can all agree to that.
Yeah,
but
sure.
You have to think about this. If this is Austin Matthews at 80% and you trade him,
I'll take him.
You'll trade him to, you know what you'll do? You'll trade him. A team like Chicago will get him and he'll go play a and then next thing you know, everyone's going to be like, shoot, we should have kept this guy. But go ahead, Dan.
Hold on. With my answer to this Gasso ass is 50-50. The reason why is because the key point with Phil did win 3 Stanley Cups. And he was key parts, even in Vegas. I think he was a key part to Vegas getting to where they got in the standings in the season in order to get to the home ice, get the cup and all that. But the big difference was when Phil Kessel got traded at Pittsburgh against the Vegas, he was the supporting piece. He was not the key guy. You had Sidney Crosby as the key guy with Pittsburgh. You had Jack Eichel as the key guy with Vegas. I completely agree.
But he was the key guy
Austin Matthews. I think if he gets traded somewhere where he's the supporting guy, I think 100% he'll go off and win the Stanley Cup. But problem is,
I don't agree with you. I would argue Phil Kessel was the key piece
as a supporting guy. That's a lot of money.
Phil Kessel was a big part of that team.
Phil Kessel on the 2 cup runs for Pittsburgh. You're saying a role player had 10 goals, 12 assists, 22 points, +5 in 24 games.
Because look who was ahead of him: Sidney Crosby, Kenny Malkin, Chris Letang, Marc-Andre Fleury. I can go on and on and on.
I can go on and on and on about anything you want. And then the next year for Pittsburgh, Phil Kessel again, 23 points, 25 games. The next year, 9 points in 12 games. Even the one playoff run Phil Kessel had with Toronto had 4 goals, 2 assists, 6 points, +3 in 7 games.
He played very well.
And we ran him out of town.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Am I saying, and you know what? I actually agree. Matthews, this contract is not great.
I agree. 100%.
They overpaid him, but they also overpaid Marner at the time.
They overpaid Matthews because they overpaid him originally. I feel like
so they had to.
It was that point.
Yeah,
they originally overpaid the guy. What is he supposed to do? Not ask for something he thinks he's worth?
Well, that's because Doofus gave it to him.
It's just at the end of the day, I just
look at it. You can't blame Matthews for having $13 million when it's Dubas's fault for originally giving him his contract.
Yeah, 100%.
His contract was bad to begin with. So at that point, he was only going to go up. What is he supposed to take less after playing as well as he did on that contract? Like, you can't. I get it. Like, he's not worth $13 million, maybe.
He's not.
But he only got what he believed he was worth after scoring. Mind you, after scoring multi 60-goal seasons, he got that $13 million. Multiple. How many other players have multiple 60-goal seasons that are currently active? I'll give you guys a hint. It's nobody. Ovi did it once. He did it once with his 65 and hasn't scored it since.
Phil
There's
Kessel, the Iron Man.
There's a reason that hasn't happened very many times in the last 20 years.
And I can't believe I'm
It's
saying
impossible to do.
Dan, Dan,
very
you
hard.
said Phil Kessel was supporting staff. In 15-16, Phil Kessel had more goals and a better plus-minus rating than Sidney Crosby.
Okay, maybe
Better than
supporting
Crosby.
staff.
Honestly,
first
Phil
run.
Kessel probably should have won the Conn Smythe that year.
Maybe
He
supporting
should've. That's what
staff
I
the
said.
wrong word. I just mean he wasn't the leader, right?
Oh,
And
yeah,
I think Austin Matthews would be a great person. Sorry, a great player
Well,
if
he's
he
a bad
wasn't the
person.
leader. And in Toronto, he's a leader. So I think if they trade him somewhere and he's not the leader, I think he'll play fantastic. But if they trade him
Well, then
somewhere
just
and
take
he's
the
the guy
captaincy
again,
off him.
it's going to be the same thing as Toronto.
Why did they give
I
him a letter
disagree
in the
with you,
first
Dan. And I
place?
mean, like, sure, John Tavares at $4 million is a phenomenal contract.
Best
but I
contract
think
in
it's
the
making
NHL.
up for overpaying him over the last how many years that other contract was.
Marner
If you're going
or
to say that Austin Matthews is overpaid at 13, you can't tell me John Tavares wasn't overpaid and he was making 11.
Yeah.
A guy that continuously through his NHL career has never stepped it up in the playoffs.
I was
People
going to
want
say
John
that
Tavares
Matthews.
as a Hall of Famer. I'm sorry, until he has a legitimate, strong playoff run, John Tavares is not a Hall of Famer. I'm not even saying winning a Stanley Cup, but name me a playoff run where he dominated. You can't.
Tampa.
You won one
He didn't
round and you weren't even the
dominate.
best player. Next.
Okay, I was going to say with Matthews, it's not like he's grossly overpaid either, right? Like he's saying 13.5, he's probably worth about 12. It's not like you're in the paying Minnesota's paying Kaprizov 17.
I hate to say it, the way
That's
Matthews
ridiculous.
is on pace right now, he's a $10 million player at best. But at the end of the day, when you sign the contract, he had just came off scoring 69 goals. Great number,
Yeah,
by
that's
the
what
way.
I mean, right?
So it was a good contract at the time. It's kind of like the Jonathan Huberdeau contract in Calgary. He just came off 118 points. Not
But
that
it's not like
Matthews
Matthews is even
as
playing
bad as
bad.
Huberdeau. I still think Jonathan Huberdeau in Toronto would be music.
No!
Yes.
Okay,
Not
wait,
for $10.5 million.
Dan, I will say this. Okay. So let's go back to Jonathan Huberdeau's 100-point season, his career high season. Dan, you will not interrupt me when I'm getting to my point, will you?
Nope.
No, don't interrupt me. I will
won't.
say, so he put up, what was it, 86 assists, Jacob?
88.
88 assists. Okay. He was playing with Alexander Barkov, who is a world-class player. I think we can all agree to that. But Barkov is not an Austin Matthews, who is an elite goal scorer, and he won't put up what Matthews puts up most seasons. Now look at Mitch Marner's points. Mitch Marner got a load of his assists from playing with Austin Matthews.
Yeah.
So I will say you get Huberdeau, world-class playmaker, in my opinion, when he's on and when he's playing with great players around him. Okay, him passing the buck to Austin Matthews could be money. Just based off of what he did with Marner, it could be money, and he could put up a lot more points. Plus, Huberdeau would have more room playing with Austin Matthews because defenses, even if Matthews isn't playing at his 60-goal pace, you still got to watch out for the best goal scorer on the Leafs. And so he attracts attention to himself, and defenses have to watch out for him. So, Huberdeau has more room to skate. That means Huberdeau will have more chances to produce goals and produce assists for Austin Matthews or Matty Nyes. And it's money. It could be money based on the fact that he will be playing with a player who will consistently score 30-plus goals every season. Huberdeau will be playing with much better players. You can't blame him for what he's doing in Calgary because Calgary have sucked since he got there. And he's not playing with anybody. He's been asked to carry a line when he was playing with Barkov, who drove that line, who drove the line with Huberdeau. And that's why Huberdeau was able to put up the points he was, because he didn't have to worry about driving the line all by himself. And it's I feel like going back to another elite center in Austin Matthews will help him. Maybe he won't put up 88 assists again, but Huberdeau will put up points. He will put up more than what he's doing in Calgary, I will say.
I think the key with that move with Huberdeau is I like the move if Calgary takes a minimum 50% of the contract, because I think he's worth about $5 million. Well, $5 million gamble, I would totally do it. Not 10 and a half
agrees
million.
with me.
That's the only hiccup. Is the dollar value. He's a great player. He's a great guy. But right now, he's not worth $10.5 million on a team that's already close to higher the cap. If you're lowering the cap, you got to fill up cap space, then yeah, why not? but it's not the case with Toronto, right? Because I agree he could be fantastic with Austin Matthews. I can see it, but not for $10.5 million.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. And like
Okay,
I would think they would have to absorb cap anyway.
For like 7. You're saying 5. I think you could get Calgary to eat 25 to 30% of the salary.
Not enough.
Yeah,
I think
probably.
it is enough.
No.
It is.
I will say, because I just saw a comment, Jacob.
But I'm just hold on, though. I just want to kind of get my point across here. The guy is someone still that he's only a -1 on a differential on a team that is a -1 billion. And like, he's a guy that has had a lot of success playing with the right players. And you look at it here, he is a big guy putting up power play goals. He gets a lot of power play minutes. He has a high shot percentage success rate. He averages over a point per 60 minutes in his stats as an overall career. Even in Calgary, it's just under that. I'm not talking point per game. I'm talking about point per 60 minutes played, which is a completely different stat.
You'll be a great player agent, Jacob.
If you get him for that around, like I said, around that like $7.5 million, you're getting a very good player. You're getting someone. Look, Mitch Marner is getting paid 12.5, and Huberdeau and Marner right now are putting up comparable numbers. You can laugh at me. They both have the same amount of goals.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Jacob.
But on a team that no one can score on.
I'll meet you in the middle. I will take Huberdeau for 6.5. If Calgary could eat up about 40% of his contract.
I think Matthews is worth more than 7. Like, I don't think he's worth half of his value, but I do agree with you that he's overpaid. We're gonna have to go soon. The Leaf game's gonna start soon. We gotta talk about something else quick, or maybe I'll save the CFL conversation for the post game show.
Jacob, but I will say this:
I don't think Morgan Riley's overpaid when you look at other defensemen at his salary. Like, I would take Morgan Riley over Darnell Nurse. I'd take him over Evan Bouchard. I can't think of every defenseman off their salary off the top of my head, but like, I can already think of 2 right off the top of my head that I would take over. I think their contracts are worse. Yeah, I don't know if Calgary would deal with Toronto, and I'm just saying in hypothetical perfect land, I would love to see Jonathan Huberdeau, but I think Calgary wants some depth players. So trade them Marcelli, Domi, Robertson, Yarncroke for Huberdeau and 25% of his salary retention to Calgary.
Calgary had Yarncroke in the past and didn't work out.
So Jacob, I will say this, though. It feels like we're having the same kind of conversations over and over again about players being overpaid and all this. And I'm like, well, we're living in a world in which you can't change the fact that Austin Matthews is getting paid $13.5 million, whatever he's getting paid. But look at it this way. When you're looking at what has happened, Austin Matthews, so let's say in a perfect world, Matthews would have taken less than $13.5 million or $13 million, whatever he's making.
Yeah.
But in a perfect world to compete and give the Leafs. But why are you asking Austin Matthews to do that when he didn't do it years ago when he got his first contract with the Leafs after his expiration? Mm-hmm. He didn't get it then. He didn't do it then because Dubas agreed and bent his knee to Austin Matthews and paid him what Austin Matthews asked for, which was an overpay because he hadn't hit over 70 points yet in his career when he asked for that money. That was an overpay back then. So at this point, you can't say it's an overpay because guess what? He already got overpaid. So now he's getting paid what he would deserve based on his last contract. That's how the NHL works.
Yeah.
It's a business in which you get no player is going to take less outside of Connor McDavid, who took less to compete. But Connor McDavid also did that, mind you. And Leon Draisaitl didn't do that. Leon Draisaitl took $14 million. Leon Draisaitl, why aren't we talking about the fact that Leon Draisaitl, now $14 million, you could say Draisaitl does deserve the money because he does, and
he's overpaid too.
He's a top 5 player in the world.
No.
Yes, he is.
Leon Draisaitl, you could say deserved the money he got, but why didn't Leon Draisaitl take less for the Oilers to then go and compete? Why was it up to Connor McDavid to do it? Why didn't Draisaitl take less money to compete? Why didn't Leon Draisaitl do the right thing and do that when he's supposed to be a leader on that team? Leon Draisaitl could talk the talk all he wants, but Connor McDavid stepped up and took less. Draisaitl didn't. If you want to talk about players,
I agree.
Not to compete, or he didn't. And it's like, you can talk about the Leafs all day, but there's plenty of players in the NHL like Kirill Kaprizov. Why didn't Kaprizov take less? Why did Kaprizov demand 17? Why didn't Kaprizov demand less? Why didn't Kirill Kaprizov ask for less when Minnesota hasn't made it out of the first round in nearly a decade? Let's talk about playoff disasters. Minnesota hasn't made it out of the first round once in Kaprizov's career, and he's making more than Connor McDavid.
It is true
because he's stuck in Minnesota. He's getting taxed insane.
He didn't get greedy, but Draisaitl is.
But Draisaitl is. And I mean, Draisaitl was overpaid, and I'm going to say why before Dan continues to get mad at me.
You're not mad. Dan,
you are telling me Draisaitl was better than McDavid.
No.
We're in a world of numbers.
But based off his salary, he is, though, when you think about it.
But based off his salary, which, by the way, Draisaitl, who is apparently one of the best goal scorers in the NHL, has 17 goals in 34 games.
Right.
So let's do a little math here, because I love numbers.
Games
mind you, he does have 30 assists and 47 points. Like, I'm not saying he's having a bad year. Okay,
I think it's worth $14 million. That's just
I don't think it is. I'm going to tell you why.
But I agree with Adam's point.
Leon Draisaitl was on pace for 41 goals. Austin Matthews is on pace for 43. And you were telling me that Leon Draisaitl is an elite goal scorer, and Austin Matthews is not. Even though
Leon Draisaitl has got to multiple Stanley Cup finals, Austin Matthews got to 0.
Okay, I will gladly go over some playoff statistics, and we'll go into some game logs for playoffs if it'll let me.
Well,
it's like the website does not let you, but I would have loved to go over the fact that in the last 3 elimination games, McDavid and Draisaitl have combined for 0 points in the last 3.
At least they got there.
Games. And Water, what I'm saying here, I know Matthews this year is not going to get 43.
Yes,
but
no
if
way.
He didn't get injured. He is on pace for 43 goals.
My point is he did get injured because he's not doing exercise bike enough.
I'm looking at a goal pace, guys. I'm looking at a goal pace. Over an 82-game span, I'm looking at a goal pace.
I swear I'd take him next year to be a player's agent.
But I'm saying
he's on pace for 43 goals.
He's on pace for 43. I'm not saying he's not going to get 43. But
if he's on an 80, if he played 82 games, I don't know what, like Dan, he's on pace for it. That doesn't mean he's going to get it. That doesn't mean he's not going to get 41. And you got to get that. Like, I feel like nobody, like, and I feel like this comes up a lot in the comments because people are like getting back to another point. And it's like, you got to listen to what is being said and like understand that point. He's on pace. Like, Austin Matthews could be on 43 goal pace. That doesn't mean he's going to get it. But I got to put it past Austin Matthews to get to 43 goals. If
he heats up and they all of a sudden get that top line going. But all I'm getting at is you can look at any player and find an argument on why they're overpaid. You could argue both McDavid and Draisaitl have choked in the biggest games in their careers. Therefore, they're overpaid. Dan, but you could. No, you can't say they have it. In the last 3 Stanley Cup elimination games, McDavid and Draisaitl have combined for 0 points.
I hear you, but if they got to the Stanley Cup finals.
What's the difference between getting there if you don't win? McDavid and Draisaitl have as many Stanley Cups as Austin Matthews right now.
True.
Doesn't matter. Everyone blames. That's why I am very curious to see a Stuartless Skinner, Oilers team without Stuart Skinner in the playoffs. And let's see, was he really the reason why McDavid and Draisaitl choke in the biggest games of their entire careers? But we're going to have to get going, and we're going to leave it on that bombshell. And I do agree, if is a big word. Like, yeah, Matthews could end up getting worse. We don't know. But
we got some more comments coming in. So I like the comment, Calgary doesn't watch scrubs. That's hilarious.
Honestly, though, yeah, I would argue Calgary is looking to rebuild. So if they're willing to get, or then maybe you trade Cowan to get in Jonathan Huberdeau or something. I mean, that trade's not going to happen.
No.
And yeah, you can say they went to 2 finals, but at the end of the day, they lost 2 finals.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in the CFL. Everyone said the Winnipeg Blue Bombers aren't a dynasty. It doesn't matter that they went to the Grey Cup 5 or 6 times in a row. They lost 3 in a row or 4 in a row, right? So it's Edmonton. You can argue they made it to the Stanley Cup twice in a row, and they've lost twice in a row. And in
thank you, Wyder, for all the comments
of their careers, McDavid and Draisaitl did absolutely nothing. And I understand Matthews has not been in any finals. I get that, but I'm saying on a pure, everyone says, and this is the argument for a Hockey Hall of Fame argument we had before, that to be considered a Hall of Famer, you have to win a cup. So right now, McDavid, Matthews, Draisaitl are on the same playing field in that matter. None of them have won.
Mm-hmm.
None of them have won.
Being to a finals is also a team stat. You can't say McDavid has been to 2 finals, but who's been to 2 finals? The Edmonton Oilers as a team has
True.
been.
Yeah, 100%.
McDavid and Draisaitl didn't carry the Oilers to those finals.
Well, I would kind of argue that
Jacob,
they did.
you know what I mean though by that? Like, like the rest of the team had to play the games. It's not like you could say that in the NBA, I feel like, where you could say a group of players like the Miami Heat when LeBron was there. LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Bosch carried the Heat to those finals, those 4 straight finals they went to. You can say that, but hockey is a completely different sport in that sense to basketball, in which you're not playing 40 plus minutes a night in hockey. But it's like, in that sense, basketball you could say is carry. But like Edmonton had to play as a team to do it. So the Oilers went to those finals. McDavid has gone to 2 finals, but he did it as a part of the Edmonton Oilers.
And I do agree. McDavid will be a Hall of Famer. I'm not saying 100%. He won't. All I'm getting at is Oiler Nation is not running McDavid and Draisaitl out of town because they didn't get any points in the last 3 elimination Stanley Cup final games.
I think Austin Matthews would be a Hall of Famer.
Runs out even Marner, as much as I'm not a fan of him, Marner and potentially now Matthews. Look, it could very well bite them in the butt. That's all I'm saying. We're going to have to save the CFO conversation for the nightcap because we will be back on after the game. But quickly, before we go, who's winning tonight? Leafs or Capitals? Big game for Toronto. They're only 5 points behind Washington. This is a 4-point swing game here.
I'm going to say 3-1 Leafs.
I'm going to say 3-2 Washington in overtime, but I hope I'm wrong.
Remind me, who's getting the start for Toronto in this one?
It's your Joseph Wall.
I hope I'm wrong, but I think Washington could win this 4-2.
Well, I think the scariest thing to leave this
Caps
show on, and
win,
Wilder,
yeah.
you're also saying Caps win. Yeah. The only positive person as a Leaf fan is Adam.
Good job, Adam.
Oh, it's Hildeby. My apologies, Wilder.
Cool. Hildeby. Okay. Well, I think Hildeby's played really good.
But
does this make Hildeby the head over Wall?
No, not in general. I think right now it's 1-8-1-B till someone runs away.
Berube's finally doing what he should have been doing before, which is switch your goalies more. He was incompetent for 8 games before Wall got hurt. He's finally learned his lesson.
That's true. Good point.
But on that bombshell of Adam being Mr. Positive, which is something I never thought I'd say.
Yeah,
it is time for us to end the show. I'm not a positive
person if you know me in real life.
Thank you very much for watching, or should I say, thank you for joining us at the Analyst Desk. If you're looking for more Analyst Desk content, follow us on all of our social medias. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube.
And you can email us. The email is at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, yes, they're also on email. Jacob, you can't forget that. You could say that as a social media platform.
Sure.
Believe it or not, we do get email. So, yeah.
Our email is a phone number. It's actually not. It's the email at the bottom of the screen. But thank you very much for watching. We'll be back for a post-game show, plus some CFO news I want to talk about expansion. Thanks very much, everyone. We'll see you back in a few hours.
Bye-bye.
Bye.